No more exotic and appealing Colt firearms were made than those used for presentations by the Colonel himself. Whether a standard model distinguished solely by an inscription or a dazzling, gold-inlaid, engraved, inscribed, and case special order masterpiece, the aura of rarity and historical importance is mainly due to the guns used by Samuel Colt as a personal presentation. Closely allied to the wave of sentimental gifts made to heroes of America's mid-century wars and her westward expansion, the Colt revolver was rivaled only by the deluxe sword in this mini avalanche of presentation items. Based on original correspondence, factory ledgers, and surviving specimens of gift arms, the estimated total of revolvers, rifles, and shotguns presented by Colt himself is about 2,500. Most were revolvers and most were given in the period 1851 to 1862. In the Paterson era, 1836 to 1842, the youthful Colt, just 22 when production began, was cautious. So far as is known, inscriptions were not cut on these gift arms. The bulk of the relatively few Paterson presentations were to officers of government and the military located in the Washington, D.C. area. None of the Walker presentation pistols appears to have been inscribed. After the Paterson fashion, they were accompanied by letters. First of the Samuel Colt gift guns to bear inscriptions were the so-called transition Walker model. In the Hartford period from late 1847, presentation arms from Samuel Colt quickly gained the stature of international status symbols. Inscriptions were visible on the weapons, usually on the backstrap, became standard practice. Exceptions were few. One means of classifying Colt presentations is by model, but another is by the wording of the inscription. Those without reference to Colonel are usually from 1848 to 1851, with Colonel of the period 1851 to the mid-1850s. After the mid-1850s, the practice of giveaways increased, and the inscriptions thereafter were most always to from the inventor and to with compliments of Colonel Colt. Colt's array of presents incorporated nearly every basic model in the company's line. The Colonel's own favorite type was the 1851 Navy, and more examples are known of this model than any other Colt. Rarest as a type are the longarms. Not a single inscribed shotgun is known at this time. The ultimate collector's item in Colt presentations is a fully engraved and inscribed revolver, cased with full accessories in mint condition and presented to a famed personality of the day. Presentation arms and engraving are interrelated. Even in the Paterson period, Colt had grasped that embellished specimens of his repeaters had a special attraction. No other American gunmaker used the presentation with such conviction or in such quantities as Samuel Colt. The presentation practice began by Colonel Colt was curtailed noticeably after his death. Gift guns remained a feature of the company's promotional repertoire, but the numbers decreased. Most likely to receive a complimentary Colt were foreign officials of the military and government. Celebrities of the American West, among them Buffalo Bill and Pawnee Bill, and persons commercially active in the arms field who stood the company well with business favors. The most intriguing aspect of this tradition to have survived is that of presentation handguns for Presidents of the United States. Andrew Jackson, Franklin Pierce, U.S. Grant, Grover Cleveland, and Theodore Roosevelt all had Colt arms, most of them presentations from the factory. Surviving specimens of Colt presentations have given the modern collector the most exotic of categories in the antique arms field. Samuel Colt was not the first to conceive of a repeating firearm utilizing the principle of a revolving cylinder. Artemus Wheeler's American patent of 1818 was the basis for Eliza Collier's design for a revolving firearm in the early 1820s. Collier, a resident of Boston, secured an English patent and produced the first successful revolver. The main drawback to Collier's gun was the primitive flintlock ignition system and the hand-rotated cylinder. Colt Paterson pistols could be obtained in a variety of decorative combinations, though few survive today. This flared grip 34 caliber belt model, serial number 754, has a floral scroll engraved barrel, recoil shield, and hammer. In addition to the German silver bands inlaid on the barrel and recoil shield, this model has a silver-plated frame and is fitted with select walnut grips. While Colt Paterson revolvers came in a surprising variety of barrel lengths, calibers, and decorative features, production was quite limited and only a few specimens have survived. This cased Colt Paterson No. 2 belt model revolver is a good example. Originally from the Captain J.R. Hageman Colt collection, this revolver has a case-hardened frame and is inlaid with two rare German silver bands on the recoil shield. It has select walnut grips and is fitted in a bevel lid mahogany case lined in maroon velvet. Accessories include an extra cylinder numbered to the gun, bullet mold, cleaning rod, capper, combination tool, and charger. This cased engraved 34 caliber No. 2 belt model Paterson, serial number 566, is considered one of the finest belt model Patersons known. It has the straight back grip with rounded cylinder and is richly adorned in the early type floral scroll engraving on the frame, barrel, and hammer, and is accompanied by 8 German silver inlaid bands. In addition to these features, the underside of the frame is decorated with a scroll and bird motif, and the backstrap is fitted with a German silver escutcheon plate. Other rare features are the case-hardened frame and hammer and the select varnish walnut grips. The entire outfit is fitted in a brown velvet-lined bevel lid case with extra cylinder, bullet mold, cleaning rod, combination tool, and charger. This rare set sold for $242,000 in 1992. The 36 caliber No. 5 holster model with 7 1/2 inch barrel, better known as the Texas Paterson, is the classic Colt Paterson revolver with its flared grip and straight back cylinder. It was the largest revolver produced at the Paterson, New Jersey factory. This model was most favored by military men who privately purchased Colt's new handgun and was effectively used by them on the Texas frontier and in the Seminole Indian Wars in Florida in the late 1830s. In 1844, Captain Jack Hayes of the Texas Rangers engaged and defeated a group of Comanche Indians by using the Paterson holster pistol. Serial number 106 is an exceptional example of this model. It is in near mint condition and comes complete, cased with all accessories. Colt's Model 1839 56 caliber carbine was the most successful of the Paterson long arms. Serial number 711 is one of the finest and most historic of known examples. It has a 24-inch half-round, half-octagon barrel equipped with sling swivels and is mounted with a 3-piece loading lever on the right side of the frame. The 6-shot cylinder is engraved with ship, hunter, lion, and battle scenes in oval panels. It is fitted with a most rare select black walnut stock inlaid on the right side with a silver presentation plaque inscribed, His Excellency Samuel Ward King, Governor of the State of Rhode Island, to Henry C. Clark, Orderly Sergeant, Rhode Island Carbineers, as a slight memento of the gratitude of the state for services rendered during the late Dorr insurrection, July 4th, 1842. One of the rarest and most exotic of all Colt Paterson revolvers is this deluxe cased belt model, serial number 548. It is fitted with ivory grips and engraved in a floral and leaf decor on the barrel, frame, recoil shield, hammer, and grip straps, and is inlaid with 8 German silver bands. The pistol is fitted in a rare Paterson bevel lid partition case inscribed on the top of the lid with the name Joseph A. Voisin. It comes complete with extra cylinder, charger, capper, bullet mold, combination loading tool, cleaning rod, and most important of all, an extra 12-inch barrel engraved and numbered to the gun. The entire outfit is in mint unfired condition. This rare set was discovered in Europe during the early 1980s and recently sold for $750,000, setting an auction record, making it not only the most valuable Colt firearm ever sold, but the most valuable firearm ever sold at auction. In 1847, Captain Samuel H. Walker of the U.S. Mounted Rifles met with Samuel Colt, and together they redesigned the Paterson holster pistol into a new improved model capable of withstanding hard military use. What emerged was the .44 caliber Walker model Dragoon revolver. It is the largest handgun ever made, weighing over 4 1/2 pounds, and has a 9-inch, half-round, half-octagon barrel. The cylinder is roll engraved with a scene of U.S. mounted dragoons in pursuit of Indians. 1,100 Walker models were produced, most going to the U.S. Dragoons engaged in the war with Mexico. Serial number 1010 is one of the most historic Walker models known, being one of a pair sent to Captain Walker by Samuel Colt. Captain Walker never received his gift, as he was killed by a Mexican lancer during the Mexican War before the guns reached him. One of the finest and most intriguing examples of the Walker 1847 Dragoon revolver is serial number 1078, known to the collecting world as the Thumbprint Walker. It is from the limited production of 100 civilian Walker Colts. The loading lever was factory installed with the rare inlatch of the type requested by Captain Samuel H. Walker in his communications with Colt. The standard T-spring was never fitted to this pistol. An auxiliary serial or assembly number 16 is stamped on the loading lever, wedge, and underside of the barrel. On the left side of the frame, a fingerprint, most likely left by one of Colt's workmen, is preserved in the metal at the time of manufacture and covered over during the case hardening process. This rare Colt transition Walker, .44 caliber Dragoon, is one of only approximately 240 revolvers made from excess Whitneyville Walker parts, utilizing the cylinder, frame, backstrap, trigger guard, grips, hammer, and trigger, which were assembled at Colt's new facility in Hartford. This outstanding example, originally from the Connecticut State Library collection, is finished in blue with case-hardened frame and loading lever. The cylinder is in the white and sharply engraved with the classic Indian and Dragoon scene. The grips are a varnished walnut, and the backstrap and trigger guard are finished in silver. The left side is fitted with a most unique factory original experimental belt hook. One of the 2 finest cased pairs of Colt 3rd model Dragoon revolvers known aptly describes this elaborately engraved and magnificently cased set. The guns are richly decorated in profuse scroll patterns on the frames, loading levers, recoil shields, hammers, trigger guards, and backstraps against a granular ground. The cylinders have special engraved borders, and the barrel lugs bear spread eagle, eagle head, and eagle and serpent motifs. The revolvers are finished in blue and case hardening with silver-plated grip straps and are equipped with ivory grips. The butt straps are mounted with lanyard rings. This elaborate pair is fitted in a deluxe French-style rosewood case lined in plush burgundy velvet. Accessories include a Colt plunger-top Dragoon-style cannon and flags powder flask, Colt silver finish bullet mold, oiler, nipple wrench, and ebony cleaning rod. In response to the success of the larger .44 caliber Dragoon models and the need for a smaller, more compact pocket revolver, Colt introduced the .31 caliber Model 1848 Baby Dragoon. The distinguishing features of this pistol are the square back trigger guard, round cylinder stops, and absence of a loading lever. It was preloaded by removing the barrel, disengaging the cylinder, and utilizing the cylinder arbor as a loading plunger. A total of about 14,000 Baby Dragoons were produced. None are more historic than this cased model, which was presented by Samuel Colt to Edmund Burke, Commissioner of Patents. This is the second known Samuel Colt presentation revolver and clearly shows Colt's propensity to place his product in the hands of those in high places. It comes cased in a Paterson style partition-free case with a Colt mark Standing Eagle flask, brass bullet mold, and cap tin. One of the rarest and most novel of Colt's products was the book casing. Its purpose was to conceal its true contents for the protection of its owner. Only a handful of book casings have survived to this day. This presentation book casing of an 1849 pocket model revolver, given to Henry H. Dickerson, a Hartford book dealer, is one of the finest surviving examples. It has a 4-inch barrel and a 6-shot cylinder. The varnished oak grips are believed to be from the famous charter oak tree, and it is beautifully finished in blue and case hardening. It is fitted in a dark blue tooled and gilt leather-bound book-style casing with blue velour-lined interior. The front and back are decorated with gilt embossed classical motifs. Accessories include a Colt's patent E pluribus unum flask and a Colt marked iron mold. This deluxe case engraved and inscribed pair of Colt Model 1851 Navy percussion revolvers are unique in Colt collecting, as they are the only known deluxe case pair with a matching attachable shoulder stock. The frames, hammers, recoil shields, loading levers, and iron grip straps are profusely scroll engraved by the shop of Gustav Young and bear hand-engraved Colt patent markings on the frames. The hammers have wolf head motifs, and the back straps are engraved with JMS monograms. The revolvers are fitted with deluxe walnut grips and a matching shoulder stock of Circassian grain walnut. The plain silver-plated yoke and butt plate are stamped with dual serial numbers matching each pistol. The revolvers are finished in blue and case hardening and have silver-plated back straps. They are fitted in a select brass-bound walnut case lined in burgundy velour. The top of the lid is inlaid with an oval plaque engraved JMS. Accessories include a shell-designed flask, 2 Colt bullet molds, pair of nipple wrenches, packet of envelope cartridges, oiler, and Colt cap tin. These pistols were made for President J.M. Salamanca of Bolivia. The president is believed to have made a visit to Hartford and toured the Colt factory. The date of the visit would have been approximately 1858, which coincides with the period of manufacture of the revolvers. Bank President Frederick Sheffield received a highly finished 1851 Navy revolver, complete with attachable canteen shoulder stock. The revolver is engraved with the initials FWHS, and the shoulder stock is inscribed FWH Sheffield with the compliments of Colonel Colt. The shoulder stock itself actually contained a canteen which could transport any type of liquid desired. This deluxe cased and engraved Colt Model 1851 Navy percussion revolver with attachable shoulder stock was produced in Hartford for the English market and bears the Colonel Colt London address. The frame, hammer, barrel, loading lever, and silver-plated backstraps were scroll engraved by the Gustav Young shop and features a wolf head motif on the left barrel lug and hammer. The left side of the frame is hand engraved Colt's patent. The matching shoulder stock is decorated and serial numbered en suite to the revolver. The whole outfit is fitted in a deluxe brass-bound mahogany case mounted on the lid with a sunken oval carrying ring. The interior, lined in green velvet, is richly ornamented in embossed gold leaf and features a unique scroll motif on the inside of the lid. Accessories include a Dickerson bag-type flask with special silver-plated spout and throat and is marked Colt's Navy Flask. It has a silver-finished Colt bullet mold, nipple wrench, packet of envelope cartridges, and 2 Ely Brother Colt cap tins. This entire outfit is in near mint condition and is one of the finest English case sets known. In 1858, Samuel Colt presented a lavish wedding present to his nephew, Henry Augustus Graham Pomeroy, civil engineer and architect of Colt's new armory on the South Meadow in Hartford, Connecticut. Colt's gift was a magnificent arms ensemble which was composed of a 36 caliber 1851 Navy revolver with matching attachable shoulder stock and a 28 caliber 1855 Root model revolver. Both pistols were contained in a deluxe rosewood brass-bound case lined in a rich maroon velvet and were accompanied by 2 Colt bullet molds, a cap tin, E pluribus unum powder flask for the Root model, and a rare cylindrical plunger charger powder flask for the Navy pistol. Both revolvers were finished in blue with case-hardened frames, loading levers, and hammers. Special, elaborate foliate engraving against a granular ground was applied by Colt's master engraver Gustav Young. The grips were of select varnished burl walnut, and the matching shoulder stock was executed in like fashion. It is of a very rare configuration that attaches directly into the backstrap rather than onto the recoil shield that is most often encountered on later models. All 3 pieces are inscribed H.A.G. Pomeroy from Colonel Colt, 1858. Today, this beautiful outfit represents a confluence of rarity, historical importance, and outstanding artistry in firearms. It is interesting to note that this set was offered to the collecting world in 1952 as part of the Charles D. Cook collection by a prominent antique arms dealer for $2,450. Exactly 40 years later, in 1992, it sold at auction for $605,000. In 1855, Samuel Colt completed the new South Meadow Armory, incorporated the Colt's Patent Firearms Manufacturing Company, and introduced the only solid-frame Sidehammer revolver made during the percussion era. This model, known to collectors as the Root model, was named after Colt's right-hand man, E.K. Root. Root played the key role in the development of Colt arms and later became president of the Colt's Patent Manufacturing Company after Colt's death in 1862. It should be noted, however, that the design of the solid frame revolver was mainly that of Samuel Colt himself. The finest and most lavish Colt Root Model 1855 revolvers known is this case deluxe pair in .31 caliber presented by Alexander Thuer to Prince Louis Bentheim of Germany. Thuer, one of Colt's engineers, as we will later see, played a key role in adapting percussion firearms to firing fixed cartridge ammunition. These pistols are finished in blue with intricately case-hardened crossed-hatched hammers and levers and are finely engraved in a scroll pattern. The raised carved ivory grips bear a bust of the prince on one grip and his royal coat of arms on the other. The back straps are inscribed in German, His Highness Prince Louis Bentheim, with the highest esteem, presented by Alexander Thuer. Fitted in a deluxe burl walnut case mounted with a silver plaque inscribed with the Prince Louis Bentheim's crown and initials, they are complete with bullet mold, E pluribus unum Colt mark powder flask, cap box, and 6 packages of combustible envelope cartridges. This outstanding set sold for $220,000 in 1992. The year 1855 also saw the introduction of the Colt Root Model Sidehammer long arms. One of the most lavishly embellished examples known is this .44 caliber sporting model given as a shooting prize. Engraved by Gustav Young on the frame, barrel, hammer, and butt plate in intricate scrolls against a granular ground, the rifle is truly a masterpiece of the gunmaker's art. The buttstock is of select walnut and the fore end is varnished rosewood set with German silver key plates and fore-end cap. A special wolf's head motif is featured on the left side of the frame and the back strap is inscribed GB. An elaborate panel on the top of the barrel is inscribed with a most unusual presentation. Presented by Colt's Armory Guard to George Best, who, at the target shoot at Middletown, June 16, 1858, won the first prize, which by mistake of the judges was unjustly awarded. Hartford, August 7, 1858. The first 3,000 model 1860 Army revolvers were made with a fluted cylinder. None are in finer condition than this rare case set with matching attachable shoulder stock that was originally part of the Connecticut State Library collection. The revolver is blued and case hardened and fitted with oil-finished walnut grips and comes complete with a detachable walnut shoulder stock mounted with plain brass butt plate and yoke, serial numbered to the revolver. It is fitted in an original brass-bound, reddish velour-lined walnut case that includes a Colt mark coat of arms sloping charger flask, Colt mold, nipple wrench, Colt cap box, and 3 packages of envelope cartridges. This rare set sold for $275,000 at auction in March of 1992. Of equal magnificence and rarity is this unusual case deluxe model 1860 Army Revolver. It is engraved in a heavy leaf scroll motif, blued and case hardened, and equipped with deluxe burl walnut grips. A great rarity is the matching deluxe attachable shoulder stock, which is checkered at the wrist and has an engraved yoke and is serial numbered en suite to the revolver. The French-style form-fitted casing is most unusual in that the revolver faces to the right. Accessories include a bag-type flask not usually encountered in American case sets, bullet mold, cap box, nipple wrench, and 5 packets of envelope cartridges. The entire ensemble is in mint, brilliant condition and fetched a price of $308,000 in 1992. The Colt Model 1860 Army Revolver was introduced at the outbreak of the Civil War. Lighter and sleeker than the earlier Dragoon models, it still fired a .44 caliber ball and was the preferred sidearm of the Union Army. Over 200,000 1860 Colt Army revolvers were produced, but only a few were especially embellished, like this deluxe case pair owned by Major General Joseph R. Hawley. Hawley was a distinguished Civil War veteran, U.S. Senator, and Governor of Connecticut. General Hawley was also President of the U.S. Centennial Commission, which was held in Philadelphia in 1876. These famous guns, known to collectors as the Black Beauties, due to their high-polished ebony grips, are engraved in a vine and squirrel motif and finished in blue, with case-hardened frames, hammers, and loading levers. They are fitted in a rich burgundy velour-lined, silver-bound case, which further accentuates their pristine condition, and are accompanied by a Colt cannon and flags powder flask, bullet mold, cap tins, packet of envelope cartridges, and a unique carved wooden medallion bearing a high-relief profile of General Hawley, which is inscribed, General Joseph R. Hawley, President, U.S. Centennial Commission. This magnificent set sold for $286,000 in March of 1992. At the outbreak of the Civil War, Samuel Colt immediately recognized a great opportunity to dramatically increase sales of his arms to the U.S. military. In 1861, Colt made a grand gesture to top Union commanders who could be influential in obtaining arms contracts by presenting each with 2 sets of cased pairs of his latest improved holster, belt, and pocket model revolvers. Generals Andrew Porter and Irwin McDowell both received a double-double set of these special presentation pistols, which consisted of a cased pair of 1860 .44 caliber Army models and a case set containing a model 1861 Navy and 1862 Police revolver, both in .36 caliber and all complete with accessories. The guns received a special high-gloss blue finish denoted by a dot under each serial number, and were fitted with select walnut grips, and each pistol inscribed with the recipient's name, with compliments of Colonel Colt. With the double case sets given to General Andrew Porter is the original letter of presentation from Samuel Colt, which accompanied the revolvers. The envelope is addressed to General Andrew Porter, United States Army. The letter, written on Colt factory stationery, reads, Colonel Colt presents his compliments to General Andrew Porter and requests him to accept in token of Colonel Colt's high regards and esteem the accompanying specimens of his most recently improved revolving breech, holster, belt, and pocket pistols, which have been got up with special reference to our military and naval service. Hartford, November 1st, 1861. General Irwin McDowell was promoted Brigadier General May 14, 1861, and was appointed Commander of the Army of the Potomac by President Lincoln on May 26, 1861. After the Civil War, General McDowell took command of the Division of the Pacific at San Francisco, a post he occupied until his retirement in 1882. General McDowell died in San Francisco in 1885 and was buried at the Presidio, a military post whose grounds and buildings he had done much to improve during his service. This elaborate case pair of deluxe 36 caliber 1862 police revolvers with 6 1/2-inch barrels are identical in casing and engraving to a set of model 1861 Navy revolvers presented to Civil War General James B. McPherson. These ivory grip pistols are elaborately scroll engraved in extra coverage with wolf and eagle heads on the barrel and frames. The guns are finished in a lustrous, high-polished blue with case-hardened frames, loading levers, and hammers. They are fitted in a most unusual French-style walnut case with covered accessory compartments, 2 cap tins, dual bullet molds, and an English bag-style flask made by James Dickerson and Sons. This extraordinary case pair of Colt Model 1860 Army revolvers is the largest Colt case set known. These revolvers, especially made for Irish peer Eustace Barron, are finished in gold and have special checkered rammers and rammer catches. The cylinders are hand engraved, the back straps are inscribed Eustace Barron, and the special rosewood grips are set with gold plaques featuring the Barron family crest. In addition is an extra rosewood canteen stock numbered and finished to the revolvers. This entire ensemble is fitted in a deluxe silver-bound rosewood case lined in red velvet. The lid top is mounted with a scroll-embellished plaque inscribed Eustace Barron. Accessories include a Colt bullet mold, Colt's patent cannon and flags powder flask, cap tin, and packet of envelope cartridges. The introduction in 1868 of F. Alexander Thuer's system for converting Colt percussion firearms to fire metallic cartridges marked the beginning of the end for the percussion era at Colt. Alexander Thuer came directly from Prussia, where he had learned gunmaking, to Hartford and joined Colt in 1849. He was one of Colonel Colt's most skilled craftsmen and often accompanied Colt on sales trips demonstrating the merits of Colt guns. Thuer's new design employed the use of an interchangeable percussion cylinder converted to use a tapered cartridge that could be loaded and ejected from the front of the cylinder, thus circumventing Roland White's patent of 1855 and 58, which allowed cartridges to be loaded from the rear of the cylinder. While Thuer's adaptation was ingenious, it proved too complex for wide acceptance, and a relatively small number of Colt revolvers were so altered to his system. This deluxe cased 1860 model Army revolver, converted to the Thuer system, was made for the Governor General of Puerto Rico, the Marquis de San Juan. Elaborately engraved by Gustav Jung, it is not only the finest Colt Thuer model known, it is one of the finest Colt revolvers ever made. The frame, hammer, barrel, grip straps, and plunger are engraved in extra profuse, intricate scrollwork. The hammer is richly engraved with a wolf's head motif and has a finely checkered spur. The loading lever is executed in deluxe checkering and involves scrollwork on the underside. The elegant raised carved ivory grips feature the initials JLS on the right side and the Marquis crest on the left. The revolver is finished in gold and silver and is fitted in an extra heavy deluxe silver-bound rosewood case featuring a sterling silver plaque mounted on the lid bearing the engraved monogram JLS surrounded by floral borders. The interior is lined in a rich plush velvet. Accessories include an extra hand-engraved percussion cylinder, a rare silver-trimmed Colt's patent cannon and flags powder flask, Colt cap tin, envelope cartridges, a special high-polished bullet mold, an L-shaped nipple wrench, and complete Thuer conversion parts. This historic set is a monument to Colt firearms artistry and commanded a price of over $300,000 at auction in 1993. The 36 caliber Model 1851 Navy or belt revolver was a personal favorite of Samuel Colt's. The Navy was the first medium caliber handgun produced after Colt opened his Hartford factory in 1847. Introduced in the latter part of 1850, it was second only in popularity to the 1849 pocket model, as over 250,000 Navy models were produced. Presented to General Franklin Pierce, an early endorser of Colt arms and hero of the Mexican War, this early serial-numbered Navy is scroll engraved on the barrel, loading lever, frame, and recoil shield. The left side of the barrel lug bears an engraved panel of a fouled anchor, and the reverse depicts a ship under full sail. The backstrap is inscribed to General Frank Pierce from Colonel Colt. The grips are of select burl walnut and beautifully varnished. The gun is finished in blue with case-hardened frame, loading lever, and hammer. Fitted in a blue velour-lined walnut case, it comes complete with a Colt's patent stand of flags powder flask, bullet mold, nipple wrench, and cap tin. The 1852 date of presentation continues with Pierce's nomination as the Democratic presidential candidate. This is the only known Colt presentation revolver to a United States president. Few London Model 1851 Navy pistols were engraved. Very few presentation sets were given by Samuel Colt to European leaders. Recipients of deluxe presentation revolvers of London manufacture were Napoleon III, Marshal Jean J. Blessieur, France, and the Earl of Cardigan, Britain, who led the charge of the most famous battle in military history, that of the Light Brigade at Balaclava on October 25, 1854. Lord Tennyson immortalized this famous event in his poem written on December 2, 1854, and reads, half a league, half a league, half a league onward, all in the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade, charge for the guns, he said, into the valley of death rode the 600. Flashed all their sabers bare, flashed as they turned in air, sabering the gunners there. Charging an army, while all the world wondered, plunged in the battery smoke, right through the line they broke. Cossack and Russian reeled from the saber stroke, shattered and sundered. Then they rode back, but not the 600. When can their glory fade? Oh, the wild charge they made! All the world wondered, honored the charge they made, honored the Light Brigade, noble 600. Few Colt gifts rival the significance and elaborate casing of this 1851 Navy and 1849 pocket model set. Presented to Edward N. Dickerson, Colt's patent attorney, after his winning the test case on the 1836 patent Colt versus Massachusetts Arms Company. On the Navy's barrel lug is the Colt coat of arms and a portrait of the colonel. The pocket model barrel lug features a figure of justice with scales and an American eagle. The back straps bear the simple inscription, Edward N. Dickerson from S.C. The casing, lined in a rich red velvet, is a special inlaid box composed of exotic mosaics of brass, woods, and mother of pearl. Made for Colt in Austria in 1849, especially for exhibition revolvers. Accessories comprise a rare plunger-top Colt's Navy powder flask, a Colt's patent Standing Eagle powder flask, 2 nipple wrenches, and 2 special Colt bullet molds finished with silver-plated handles. Another example of a book casing is this 1862 police model, engraved by Gustav Young, and is inscribed on the backstrap to Mrs. Howell Cobb from Colonel Colt. The revolver is finished in blue and case hardening, has silver-plated grip straps, and is fitted with fancy checkered ivory grips. The book casing is gold embossed on maroon leather with the front and back bearing allegorical motifs of the United States. The spine is inscribed, Colt on the Constitution, higher law, and irrepressible conflict. Dedicated by the author to Mrs. Howell Cobb, January 1st, 1861. Accessories comprise a Colt mold, E pluribus unum powder flask, nipple wrench, Colt cap tin, and a package of envelope cartridges. Mr. Howell Cobb was a Georgia aristocrat who served as congressman and secretary of the Treasury from 1857 to 1860. Presented just a few months before the Civil War began, this set was given by Samuel Colt along with several others to ingratiate himself to various Southern leaders. The Mrs. Cobb presentation is one of approximately 12 revolvers given by Colt to a woman. Samuel Colt presented Colonel William A. Thornton with an engraved and inscribed case set of revolvers which included a new model Colt 1860 Army and an 1861 Navy. The inscription read, Colonel W. A. Thornton with compliments of Colonel Colt. The set included dual powder flasks and bullet molds and was mounted in a deluxe brass-bound walnut case lined in burgundy velvet. It would be difficult, if not impossible, to name anyone other than William A. Thornton, U.S. Government Ordnance Department Inspector, as having the most effect on sales of Colt firearms to the U.S. military. Colonel Thornton was a career Army officer, and his first official exposure to Colt arms had been in the Paterson period. He was responsible for the inspection of many thousands of Colt firearms from 1847 through 1861. To collectors, the WAT stamp on a Colt firearm is the best known of all inspector markings on percussion handguns and longarms of Colt manufacture. To William A. Thornton must go a great share of the credit for trimming down the bulky Whitneyville Walker design to the more practical Hartford Dragoon pattern. Samuel Colt himself stated, the changes in the pistols suggested by Captain Thornton make them lighter and better suited to the common holster of service. Although an Army officer, Thornton also inspected some arms for the Navy. Various sub-inspectors worked under his direction. Officer Thornton advanced steadily in rank and at the time of his death in 1866 was a brigadier general. This unique collection of rifles and handguns was mounted by the Colt Company for Hartley and Graham and is retained on the original 57-inch by 65-inch blue-gray cloth-backed wood board bearing the brass marquee Colt. The whole exhibited in a 6-foot 4-inch by 11-foot 5-inch walnut cabinet of recent manufacture is exquisitely crafted in exact duplication of the Colt display case used at the Philadelphia Centennial Exposition of 1876. Schuyler Hartley and Graham, later Hartley and Graham, at 19 Maiden Lane, New York City, were major distributors of Colt firearms. This firm was owned by Marcellus Hartley, founder of the Union Metallic Cartridge Company, who later purchased the Remington Arms Company. When the Hartley and Graham showroom closed after the turn of the century, the board was subsequently taken to the Remington Company headquarters at Bridgeport, Connecticut. During World War II, several efforts were made to break up the display board for scrap, but were resisted by 2 Remington employees who appreciated its historical value and placed it, hidden, face to the wall, in the ladies' restroom until after the war's end. After World War II, it was displayed in the Remington managerial offices until purchased by Robert Q. Sutherland in 1969. This outstanding display sold for a record $1,045,000 at auction in 1992.